We were able to cover lots of different standards in this one unit by incorporating a lot of the arts integration strategies. So they really had a buy-in once they realized that they were going to become their own fairy tale character. Okay, so you know how we've been talking about fairy tales? Yes. And we've read a few already. We've read Beauty and the Beast, and we've read Peter Pan, we've read Jack and the Beanstalk. We've read lots of them. Well, I saved one of my favorite ones for last, and it is Cinderella. Thumbs up if you've ever heard the story Cinderella. We've read lots of different fairy tales, and I saved my favorite for last, Cinderella. Once I was able to get all of the fairy tales read to them, and they had a good understanding of each one, I figured that after I read my last one, I would reveal to them that the big news is they were going to become a character. And they lived
happily ever after.
Yes. So, you know how we've been reading all of the fairy tales over the last few weeks? Well, what you're going to get to do is become a fairy tale character. Now, all of these characters that we've been talking about, now you are going to actually get to become one. You're going to get to write like you're them, you're going to get to act like you're them, you're going to get to speak like they're them. So you're going to basically become that character over the next 9 weeks. And guess what character I'm going to be? Cinderella. The students, when they first were choosing a character, they were able to write down their first 4 choices, and I then was able to look at those lists and the students and was able to match each one of the students with a character that I really felt was appropriate for them. So I kind of put the personalities I already knew about them and the differentiated levels of their learning and their personality and their learning style. So I kind of kept all of that in mind when I was assigning their actual character. This one is called Hot Seat. Now, that does not mean a seat is on fire, okay? What do we call those? Remember? Idioms, yes. So what you're gonna do for a hot seat is you're going to step into character. As a second grade teacher, myself and many of my colleagues we've struggled with children really mastering the point of view standard because it's kind of really putting themselves into someone else's shoes, going back to their feelings, their traits, how they respond to challenges, which are all standards that we're able to teach kind of under one umbrella. So once we started teaching using the hot seat strategy, they were able to really be able to become a character and physically sit in a seat and answer questions from students or others to actually see, how they felt as that character. And it really gave them buy-in, and it kind of deepened their understanding because they were different characters. Now we have the Beast. Goodbye, Tony.
Goodbye, Tony.
All right, Beast, enroll. Who has a question for the Beast? Brayden?
How did you feel when you finally got to turn back into a prince?
I felt excited because I could marry Belle, and the Gaston couldn't marry Belle.
Are you ready to learn another arts integration strategy?
Yes.
Yes. All right, so we've learned pantomime. We've learned hot seat. Well, now we're going to learn one called write, enroll. Now, write, enroll is very similar to hot seat, but instead of talking out loud of your feelings and answering questions, you're writing. So you're going to write as if you were that character. So think of your character in your head right now. So you will be writing like you are that character. Your opinion is going to be why you are the best character. For example, Noah is King Triton. So he's going to be writing, telling us that he is the best character. So you've got to think of what makes him so good. Writing enroll is also, it goes very hand in hand with hot seat. They pretty much go together because, again, you're using the character's point of view. And the cool thing about writing enroll is sometimes, unlike a lot of the other arts integration strategies, it it really helps the really good authors and writers get their point out too, because sometimes children are shy and they don't really want to speak much and act much. So this is a chance for, you know, their time to shine also. Opinion writing sometimes can be hard for little ones. They just kind of want to say because it's cool or because it's good. So I kind of created a little flip book, and it walks them through each step that an opinion piece should have. And they just are able to just lift the flaps in the flip book, and they're able to see sentence starters to help them first introduce their topic. Then they flip to another page that gives them lots of interesting ways to start to actually state their opinion. Then there's the next section is full of different ways to start sentences to supply their reasons. The last section gives them a good way to, or different ways to conclude their opinion piece, which a lot of second graders often leave off when they're writing. They just want to kind of end with a reason or end with because it's good kind of thing. So it gives them lots of different choices on how to end their piece. For our last arts integration strategy that we're going to learn, it is called Tableau. It's kind of a fancy word for a snapshot that you can create with your bodies. Another arts integration strategy that I feel has really helped a lot of my students, especially in retelling and remembering the important parts of a story, which is a very important standard that we do, is called Tableau. The kids like kind of saying it too because it kind of seems like a fancy word for them. It teaches them how to create a still scene in a book. And the coolest way to introduce it to them is show students actually in action doing it. So I was able to pull up some photos of my previous students doing it. So they were able to see different scenes. I gave them a hint of what fairy tale the scene was from, and they were able to kind of figure out what characters the students were representing. Actors, do you think you're ready?
Yes.
Make sure you show our facial expressions, because that's what two of your characters are definitely going to rely on. All right, are you ready? Audience ready?
Yes.
Okay, and action. Okay, who do you think they are? Look at this. Make your face grumpy. This is supposed to be a grumpy face. Who do you think this character is?
The stepmom.
The stepmom or the stepsister, either one, yes. What about this high level? What do you think?
The stepsister.
Could be the stepsister, but she looks happy.
The fairy godmother.
Could be the fairy godmother. Who's with the prince? The one carrying the shoe? And he's like, yay! Yes, the servant. Yay! The prince is getting married. So who do we think Brayden is?
The prince.
Definitely Prince Charming, which makes Marin
Cinderella.
Cinderella. And our low-level student is
Kaylee.
a chair or a stool, yes. All right, stand up, guys. Let's give them a hand. After they've used their flip book to kind of write themselves a draft, that's when they will go through the writing process and do some revising and editing. And then their publishing piece for this is after they have their neat copy, they're able to get an iPad and use an app called Chatterpix. They're able to open the app and draw a little mouth and read and record themselves reading their piece. So then it appears as if the character that the picture is from is actually speaking. So it's really cool, and they like to see, you know, their work come alive on the screen.
A friend of mine says that I'm the most evilest captain in the world. Everyone fears me because I have a hook that can stab through your body. I mean, seriously, no one can beat me.
We have found as a school that being trained in arts integration has really helped our kids as a whole, as a primary school, really learn some standards that were a little difficult prior to learning the strategies. The biggest part is it touches on every kind of learner, so we're able to just reach way more students than before.